We're in day two of jury selection in the case of Justin Ross Harris. Prosecutors say he left his 22-month-old son Cooper in the back of his hot car to die. Harris says it was an accident. Now, yesterday, not one but two potential jurors were excused for hardship reasons. One of the excused, he booked a 40th anniversary trip to Paris. Another potential juror away traveling already. Justin Ross Harris in court again today, so this leaves a few hundred potential men and women who will sit on this jury and decide his fate. And they also are given an extensive questionnaire, some 17 pages about the case. Now, we know Harris could face life in prison if found guilty of felony murder. Joining me now, CNN legal analyst and attorney and someone who's covered this case very closely. You've been in that courthouse, Philip Holloway. Let's talk briefly, just to clarify for our viewers, who's excused and who's not. You've got jurors with travel and an anniversary. They get off. Another guy, I think, had a job issue, the busiest time. So the travel takes precedent over the job. How does this all work out?
Mike, jury duty is simply that. It's a duty. It's not an option. It's the court orders you to be there. It says, look, you have to set all your other business aside and be and appear here because it's literally your civic duty, because the criminal justice system would break down if judges were to excuse jurors simply because it's an inconvenience. In this particular case, it's going to be extremely inconvenient given the length and the duration of this trial, but a mere inconvenience is not enough. Interestingly enough, the parties did agree to excuse the gentleman to go to Paris, and they agreed that the person who was, quote, on the high seas for whatever reason, physically not able to be there, the parties did agree to excuse those two. Got it.
Let's talk about this 17-page questionnaire. What kind of questions do you think are on there? I mean, is it about what you know about this case, whether or not you knew if Justin Ross Harris was accused of sexting? Is that going to get that detailed or no?
All of those details will be potentially in there. Whether or not you're married, whether or not you're single, whether or not you have kids, what part of Cobb County you live in, all of those are going to be relevant. What is your job? Do you have a job? If so, what is it? Do you have any legal training? Are you married to a lawyer? Are you a lawyer? The host of potential questions is just literally unlimited, but a lot of that questionnaire, Mike, will have to do, no doubt, with how much access you've had to pretrial information through the media or other sources about this case.
Do you think this jury will be sequestered? Will that be front and center when it's all said and done?
I'd seriously doubt the jury is going to be sequestered once they are seated. I think that there's an issue. The defense has asked for them to be sequestered for what we call individual sequestered voir dire, which is basically questioning them outside the presence of all the other jurors. I don't think she's going to grant that. I think she's going to do it in smaller groups than she might normally do, but I seriously doubt she's going to permit individual sequestered voir dire.
You know, one key to this case is obviously, and it's the defense case, that Justin Ross Harris literally forgot Cooper was in the car. I believe we have an animation we want to show everybody, and we're looking ahead. The Chick-fil-A is where they had breakfast. As this animation rolls, that first intersection, you see how close that is? That's where basically it's Justin Ross Harris's decision. Do I make a right and take Cooper to daycare, or do I continue on? It only takes, you've driven it, so have I, going from Chick-fil-A to that intersection. It's 30 seconds to get to that intersection. That's going to be a tough argument for the defense, don't you think?
Well, it depends on the traffic conditions, and we don't know exactly what the traffic conditions were that day. But you're right, literally, and I've driven it myself, you can go out of the Chick-fil-A, you make a right turn, you make an illegal U-turn, but then it's just a matter of a few feet before you have to decide which lane, the left turn lane to go to the daycare or straight. The defense's argument is going to be that his normal routine, by the way, was to get in that straight lane, because normally they say he took Cooper to daycare first before he went to Chick-fil-A. So if his mind is simply distracted, they're going to say that is consistent with him doing what he normally does, which is go straight.
Yeah, you're almost making that. We're going to hear what you said, I'm sure, from the
absolutely,
defense,
we're going to hear that.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
The distracted mind. You can almost hear the defense attorney looking to the jury. You've forgotten, haven't you, in this distracted day and age we live in, forgotten things so quickly?
And we're going to hear from expert witnesses who will say that a change in your routine is one of the common factors associated with legitimate cases of accidents where children are left in the back of a hot car.
Because the opposite, the prosecutors say, how do you forget 30 seconds later that this little guy is in your car? That's setting up for quite the case. Philip, I know you'll be all over it. Good to see you.
Glad to be here.
All right, let's check back.